Good morning, students, and welcome to the class. Yesterday, we have discussed the chapter Environment and Natural Resources. The chapter is completed, but some pictures and cartoons are need to be interpreted. And in today's class, we will do that only. This is the picture of rainforest and mangrove. This is rainforest and this is mangrove, and it is being depicted by the picture the importance of environment, which was not the concern of the world till 1960s, and with the passage of time, it became the focus of the world politics and whatever international organization and international treaties were done. Uh, so, this is only depicting the natural forest. Now, we can see this picture. This is the picture of the area which is around the Aral Sea. Aral Sea is a kind of lake, and this lake there is highly polluted, and the reason of pollution is the there are many reasons. What we see that the area of Aral Sea has been decreased to a large extent. It has a vast area. In here, if we can see that in 1980s, it used to be in a large area, but it is shrunk to a very small area at present. So there arose the problem of the fishery industry, which was completely which was very much very important source of livelihood for the people. That industry completely destroyed, and moreover the problem of the amount of salt was also increased in the soil so much that the soil became uh, not suitable. The soil became unsuitable for the purpose of cultivation, and in this way people have to face a lot of problems. And one more thing is there that it entered the drinking water also. The toxins. And what was the sources of toxins? Toxins came from the use of pesticides by the people in that area, because of a lack of fertility. People used to use a great amount of pesticides, and this pesticide became a part of the soil, and it met with the underground water, and because of this there arose the problem of toxicity in drinking water also. So Aral Sea, there was a lot of study was done for the reason, and whatever situation was uh, prevailing in the area in and around the area around sea. And we see that it was said jokingly that if everyone who had come to study the Aral had brought a bucket of water, the sea would be full by now. So it was said that so many people came in order to study the conditions, the environmental degradation caused by the Aral Sea, and the environmental condition which was prevailing at that place. And if the all the people who had come for the studying, who had come for the research, if they had bring a bucket of water, then it could have been full by this time. So it is making mockery of research and studies. Actually, what is why it is said? It is said because there is no actually people are not getting any kind of support. People are not getting any kind of help from these researches. Their life is as problematic as it used to be, so there is no utility of doing all this research for the people at present time. Though it may be these research will have its effect in the future time, but at present people are not getting any kind of help from these researches. Now, this is the picture. In this, what we find, these are the fingers, and the earth is within the fingers, and these are made of chimneys. So this depict the how the Earth is surrounded by the polluted air, which are caused because of industrial activities. The industrial activities produce so much pollution, so much air pollution, and the chimneys are the ways through which the polluted air goes in the air, which is generated by the industrial activities. And in this way, we find that the industrial activities are responsible for the air pollution, and it has created such a situation that the temperature of the earth has risen so much that the problem of global warming has we are facing the problem of global warming. So, this is depicting the earth. This is depicting the industrial activities which is causing in the air pollution, and this is the earth is depicted in a form of lighter. It denotes the rising temperature of the earth because of chimneys which are releasing the polluted gases, which are releasing the toxic gases in the atmosphere. So this is the interpretation of this cartoon. Now we will see this. In this picture, what we see that two people are there. One is shown in one is in bigger size and the other one is in smaller size. These two big size and small size, these depict the rich country and the poor country, the developed country and the developing country, the country which belong to the north and the country which belong to the south. So now what is the condition? These countries are involved in a international treaty for the protection of the environment. Okay, and now they have signed the treaty, and this which is depicting the developing countries, it has raised its hand in a proper manner that it will protect the environment. Okay, it will give its contribution in protecting the environment. And this one, who is a developed countries, look at the finger. The fingers are crossed. So the fingers, crossed fingers, denotes white light. Though he has raised his hands, but it has not been raised in a proper manner. The fingers are crossed. It means that though he is saying that he will contribute in the protection of the environment, but actually he is not going to uh, contribute. He is not going to obey the terms of the international treaties. So this is depicted by the this cartoon. Now we will move to another cartoon. This is we have discussed this earlier. This is the map of Antarctica. Antarctica is like this only, and in this we have discussed how Antarctica is one of the most important and the largest global commons, and how different countries claim their right over Antarctica. So all these things have been discussed. Now this is the picture of Africa. It is there was a catastrophe. It was the catastrophe was caused because of drought, and this drought turned the cultivable land, the land which was used for cultivation, into barren land. Because of drought, the cultivable land turns into barren land, and it was full of cracks, and it was no more. It cannot be used for cultivation anymore, and because of this, what happened that many people have to leave that place, and they have to take refugee in another countries, and from this incident, a new term started to be used, and that term was environmental refugee. Environmental refugee. The refugee people have become refugee. Why? Because of the degradation of environment. So this was the first time that the people had to leave their place because of environmental problem. Okay, because agriculture was no more possible in that land, so they lost their source of livelihood, and so they have to leave that place and take refuge in another place. So this is the situation. This is the environmental refugee. Now we are going to this sacred groves. Sacred groves in India. We have discussed about the global, the common property. Okay, common property means those property which are not owned by an individual, but they are the property of the community. And in this connection, the most important common property is sacred groves. Sacred groves are considered sacred because of in thinking of the people, that some god or goddesses or the spirit of ancestors are living there, and because of this sacred feeling, because they are thinking that the groves are sacred, and this is the only reason they protect the groves. They don't want that anyone can, they do not allow anyone to enter the groves, and the whole community is responsible for the protection of that those groves. So in this we find that these groves are different types, different are there in different sizes. Some are just a few clumps of tree, a clump of a few trees, while some are spread in 100 acres of land. So these are the sacred groves. Though the reason is religion, people are protecting the environment for a religious purpose, but the impact is on environment. Here, one problem arises. The problem arises um, between the legal owner of these common property, and the operational controller, who are actually controlling the property. The legal owner of these sacred groves. Who is the legal owner of these sacred groves? The state, because all the land belongs to the government. So these lands are owned by government, but these are actually controlled by the communities which are living around the areas. The communities are making laws, the communities are making rules, and they are enforcing these rules also. So many times there conflict arises between these two entities. So this is all about sacred groves. Then we have discussed water problem also, and whenever we see that countries, two or more countries share a river, there is there is conflict between the two countries. In this connection, we have discussed about, I told you about the conflict which was there between India and Pakistan because of this Indus. This is Indus. Okay, Indus River. It starts from here and goes in this direction, and then it reaches Pakistan. So there was conflict regarding this, regarding the distribution of water of Indus between India and Pakistan. Then World Bank was there. With the help of World Bank, both the countries reached an agreement in 1960. Then again we find that mm, there are there is a conflict between India and Bangladesh for the sharing of the water of Ganga, and Bangladesh opposes the Farakka barrage, which was made by India, because according to Bangladesh, because of this Farakka barrage, the amount of water reduced in that country. So water rivers are the one of the most important source of conflict between the countries which share it. Now we will see another problem: forest wilderness. In this regard, we find that forests are the most important natural resource, and regarding forest, there is difference of opinion between the north and the south. The countries which are constituting north, they consider forest as a wilderness. They think, they are of the opinion that forests are not the place where people should live. People should not be there in the forest, and that forest should be only for the animals. Only trees should be there, and only animals should be there. This is the views of north. But in south, we find that people used to live in the forest. There are many tribals who are living in the forest. So this is the difference of opinion, but it does not mean that the countries of south are not supporting the wilderness campaign. They are also supporting that the forest should be for the animals. There are many examples. For example, in Philippines, there is green organization which fight to protect eagles and other birds of prey from extinction. In India also there is a battle which is done to protect the alarmingly low number of Bengal tigers. So in the countries of South also, people are fighting for the cause of animals, and they are putting arguments that the forest should be left only for the animals. So this is a forest wilderness. Now this is a picture. In this picture, what is shown, that these people, they are environmentalists, they are ecologists, and what is done by the ecologist, he is putting he is watering uh, an electric pole. Okay, so what is done by the ecologist is actually they are not doing anything which is fruitful. It is depicted by this cartoon. Uh, by watering the electric pole, we cannot think of protecting the environment. If we really want to protect the environment, then we should make effort for the afforestation. We should make effort for the starting of alternative sources of energy. So this type of effort which is done by the ecologist is of no use. Now, this is the picture of the people. It is a community which is protesting against the decision of the Bangladeshi government for open cast uh, open cast coal mine project. It was in the year 2006 that the government gave its government uh, wanted to start this project that was a open cast coal mine project. And because of this coal mine project, there were many people who can be displaced, and because of that fear of displacement, people are protesting against the decision of the government. Now, this is the picture of uh, the condition which is prevailing in the countries of uh, third world, especially those countries which are rich in oil resource. When we were discussing this geopolitics, I told you that there are many countries in West Asia, for example, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait. There are so many countries. These all belong to West Asia, where oil reserve is very much. They have great oil reserve, and because of this oil reserve, what happens that the countries, the big powers, the superpowers, want to control these countries. And in this cartoon, this is depicted, and the term which is used here, it is neocolonialism. Okay, this is very important for you to understand this term. It is colonialism. Colonialism. We have faced colonialism. We were the colonies of we were the colony of the British before independence. So in colonialism, what we find that a country which is powerful, it starts controlling the political, economic, and social life of any other country. So this is colonialism. But now we are talking of neocolonialism. In colonialism, what happened that there was a complete control of the powerful country over the colonized country. The colonized countries were not having any kind of rights, and they were completely under the rule of the colonial power, big powers, and it was all visible. Anyone can, matlab, it was not hidden. Everything was clear. Everyone was knowing that India is a colony of Britain. But in this connection, in this context, what we are seeing neocolonialism. Neocolonialism is a kind of colonialism in which the big country, the big power, or the superpower controls another country, and the control is political also and economic. They are concerned only with politics, economy. They are concerned only with the economy. They want to control the economy of the country, that country. They want to control the oil reserves of that country. And if they want to control the economy of the country, what is required? They can control the economy only through control of politics. So, they what they do, they don't start ruling that country. They help in the setting up of a friendly government in that country, so that they can easily control the economy of the country. So this is neocolonialism, in which everything is done, the purpose is same as the purpose of colonialism. In the neocolonialism, purpose is same. Both of them are wanting to control the economy, but the method adopted in colonialism and the method adopted in neocolonialism is different. Um, in colonialism, the method was direct, and in neocolonialism, the method is indirect. Everything is hidden. No one can say that any country is, say, Saudi Arabia is the colony of America. No, no one can say this. But actually, this is the truth. It is working like that only. So this is the picture, and we are now I am reading this. Now that we have destroyed your country, you can pay us to rebuild it. This is the US Army, you can say, and they have attacked the country in the name of democracy, in the name of freedom, because in the opinion of US, the country was not the government of that country was not giving freedom to the people. It was highly undemocratic, and on that ground, the US has done military intervention in that country, and everything is destroyed. Now they are saying that we have destroyed your country. Now you pay us so that we can rebuild your country. Now, after the destruction of the country, what is required? The requirement is rebuilding. You have to reconstruct your country. So, for reconstruction, what is the need? The need is money. So, he is asking for money, not money. They don't want money. They take natural resources like oil. Instead of money, you just give control of your natural resources like oil. Then we will rebuild your country. So, this is how neocolonialism is being operated. Okay. Now, this is also this the whole page. You can see it. It is also about how country like America is using the countries of especially West Asia, or the countries which have high oil resources. How country like America is using those countries. So in this, you can say this is Sheikh Pet. These are all imaginary names and imaginary situations are given. Sheikh Petrodollah, king of the land of black gold. It is in a way it is depicting the Saudi Arabia. Okay, and this is Mr. Big Oil, CEO of Big Oil and Son. He is the it is depicting the an MNC from America. Then Mr. and Mrs. Gobbledo, they are the citizens of a country like India and a country like America, and this is a terrorist loose cannonballs. It is depicting the people of Saudi Arabia. So, in this, what is the main theme of this story? Is that there is a deal between Mr. Big Oil and Sheikh Petrodullah, and according to this deal, what happened that Mr. Big Oil has started using the oil resources of this country, which is given land of black gold. He started using the uh, oil resources of this country, and in because he's using the oil resources, he is paying him. He's paying him uh, money, and that money, that amount is very much too much amount is being paid to him, and there is also military intervention done by America, and because of this military intervention, what happened? There is destruction in the life of the people. People lost their lives, and so many problems have been created. So, in this, we see that the people have purchased this car, and they are saying that this is a very good car because it has great mileage, it is low on emission too emission, it emits less it emits less polluted gases, and it is gentle on atmosphere. So they are thinking that they are doing something for the environment. Why? Because they have purchased a car which has great mileage and low on emission. But actually, the the petrol or the diesel it will consume, that will actually uh, mm, have a harmful effect on the environment. And now this is the Stapleton defends freedom and democracy. So, in this, what is done by the big oil? Uh, he has gone on a deal with the King Petrola, okay, and his country has done military intervention. And this military intervention was done in the name of freedom and democracy. And he is showing to the world that whatever is done, that is done only to save democracy, but actual purpose was different. Okay, so this is the mockery of the situation which is prevailing in the countries of West Asia. These countries are always involved in violence. They are not understanding the intention of the superpowers, and superpowers are only there is only one superpower right now. So that America is only using the resources of these countries and causing lot of violence in these countries, and in this way the total unrest is there, and only the oil is responsible for all these unrest. That is the reason it is said that the history of oil is the history of war. So this is all for today. Now we will discuss the matter. Now we will start a new chapter tomorrow. Okay.